Let's talk about change. It's the one thing that's always happening in business, but trying to manage it, man, it can feel like a constant battle. So today, we're going to break down ITIL 4's totally modern take on change, and we're basing this on a really great report from Virtualization Options LLC, a technology research and advisory group based out of Colorado. And look, this isn't just some abstract ITIL theory. This is about solving one of the biggest, most universal headaches that every single organization has to deal with.
And that headache, it really boils down to this fundamental conflict, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the business shouting from the rooftops, "We have to innovate. We got to move faster right now." And on the other side, you've got your ops teams just begging, "Please, can we just keep the lights on? Let's not break anything this week." I mean, does that sound just a little bit familiar?
And this is that tension laid out right here. You've got innovation speed, that relentless push to get new, valuable stuff out to your customers. And then you've got service stability, the absolute need for things to be reliable and for your customers to trust you. For way too long, we've been told these two things are a trade-off. You can have one, but it's always going to cost you the other.
But what if I told you that's not true? What if getting this balance right has a truly massive payoff? The report we're looking at points out that having a formal, structured way to handle change can slash, and I mean slash, incidents related to change by up to 80%. Seriously, 80. That's not a typo. It's basically the price you pay for chaos right there in black and white.
Okay, so how do we get there? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in how we think about this. ITIL 4 completely reframes the goal. It's not about controlling everything just for the sake of control.
In fact, the very first thing we need to do is just get rid of this term, change management. For a lot of us, that phrase just brings up nightmares of roadblocks, red tape, and these endless meetings where the whole point seems to be finding a reason to say no.
And we're going to replace it with this: change enablement. Just the name itself tells you everything you need to know, right? The whole mindset shifts. It's no longer about being a gatekeeper. It's about being a strategic partner that actually helps the business get where it needs to go, safely.
And here's the official definition from the source. I want you to notice the two parts here because they're equally important. First, safely, with minimal disruption. Okay, that's your stability. But then there's the second part, while enabling business value. That's your speed, that's your innovation. It's about doing both at the same time, not picking one over the other. So, this new mindset is awesome. But how does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at the framework that really makes this balance possible.
Okay, this is where it gets really smart. ITIL 4 gets that not all changes are the same. You've got your standard changes. Think about things like a password reset or a routine software patch. They're low risk, they're predictable, so let's just pre-approve them and keep things moving. Then you have normal changes, which, need a proper look. And for those moments when, everything is on fire, there's an expedited path for emergency changes. It's all based on risk, which is just common sense. It's not a rigid, one-size-fits-all process.
And all of this fits into a really simple, logical flow. This isn't bureaucracy, it's just a smart workflow. You start with a request, you evaluate the risks and the benefits, you get the right people to approve it, you implement it, and then, and this is so crucial, you review it to see what you can learn. It's a full circle feedback loop.
Okay, so that's the how, but let's get back to the why. Why should your boss care? Why should the business invest in this? Well, because this process delivers real, tangible, measurable value.
First up, stability. The report shows that organizations who get this right see up to 70% fewer service outages. Just stop and think about what that really means. It means happier customers, a much more resilient business, and your team spending way less time fighting fires.
And that newfound stability, it leads to better outcomes across the board. A structured process results in a 20% higher project success rate. I mean, think about that. 1 out of every 5 of your most important strategic projects that might have failed now succeeds. That's huge. And now for the kicker. This is the one that always surprises people. Doing this actually makes you faster. The report finds organizations can see up to a 50% faster time to market. And you might be asking, how is that possible? More process makes us faster? Yes, because you're getting rid of all the rework, the failed changes, and the chaos that comes from just winging it. It turns out
Good guardrails actually let you drive faster, not slower.
So when you put this all together, change enablement is so much more than just some IT operational task. It's a genuine strategic driver. It helps you accelerate innovation, it supports real business growth, and it builds a culture where you're always getting better.
Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking. This all sounds pretty good, but isn't this kind of old school ITIL thinking? How does this fit with how we work today, with Agile and DevOps? And you know what? That is a totally fair question. And ITIL 4 has a really clear answer.
Let's look at the evolution of the Change Advisory Board, the CAB, as the perfect example. The old school CAB, yeah, it could absolutely be a bottleneck. Yeah, these long weekly meetings with the same people every time. But the modern CAB, it's completely different. It's dynamic, it's virtual. It relies on asynchronous reviews and data to make decisions. It's designed from the ground up to support the flow of Agile and DevOps, not get in the way.
Which really brings us to the one final question you should be asking yourself and asking your organization. Is your change process a gate or is it a guardrail? Is it a big, heavy gate that just stops progress and makes everyone wait? Or is it a guardrail that keeps you moving forward, at speed, safely on the path to delivering incredible value? Because with change enablement, the goal is always to be the guardrail.